How long would it take a new player to get every perk to tier 3 in Dead by Daylight? Do you think it would take 200 hours, 500 hours, 1,000 hours? Well, it may be more than you think. With meta perks running rampant in Dead by Daylight and brand new content coming out fairly frequently, the grind of Dead by Daylight is feeling more and more unattainable. I've been on a non-stop grind to get all my perks to tier 3, and it took me over a year to get there. Which begs the question, is Dead by Daylight overdue for a new perk system? Some people have recommended perks automatically be tier 3 upon acquiring a character to avoid some of the long and tedious grind. Some people have recommended the Shrine of Secrets feature all the perks, making them available to players who don't buy the DLC. It's tough to say if either of those ideas are the best option for the game. And before we dive into what might need to change, let's take a step back. Are these endless grinds really a new concept, or have we been stuck in the same loop for decades? When I think of grinding, my mind instantly goes back to RuneScape. I would spend hours and hours chopping down trees just to increase my wood cutting level. I hated sitting there just clicking from tree to tree, but I knew I had to keep grinding. And it didn't stop there. I would spend months grinding for rune armor, and once I got it, well, I wanted it trimmed, so the grind started again. There's something in your brain that just won't let you stop playing a game until you finally hit your perceived goal. You need that resolution. This is a concept you'll see in other everyday items. Musicians will sometimes leave a chord progression unresolved, which leaves the listener wanting more. A perfect example of this is We Are the Champions. So at the end it goes, "'Cause we are the champions, duh duh." And then it just ends. And some people around you might actually say "of the world" in order to get that resolution that the song doesn't give you. Gambling is by far the most cynical example, as gamblers are given a dopamine hit for every win, whether big or small. And there's always some type of incentive to continue, like getting free spins on a slot machine. And some of those exact same tactics are used in video games to keep us hooked. There's a funny South Park episode about mobile games and why they're so addicting. Basically, the SparkNotes version is that a game has to be fun, but not too fun. So you're always left wanting more. Meanwhile, the game is constantly pumping people full of dopamine with free in-game currency, the dopamine from level ups, and then they have some fun and engaging pop-ups to give you positive reinforcement. That's the exact reason my mom is like level 6,500 on Candy Crush right now. And if you've ever played an MMORPG like World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, or my personal favorite, Star Wars The Old Republic, you've probably experienced a 4 to 5 hour grind sesh slaughtering a low-level mob in order to stack XP. It's absolutely brain dead, but I'll do it if I feel like it's the quickest way to level up. Dead by Daylight can feel like that at times. As it currently stands, you have to get every survivor to P1 in order to make every survivor perk teachable. Then you pick one survivor and level them up to around P5. That should be able to get you all survivor perks to tier 3. Because survivors don't have different unique abilities, this is the fastest way to get access to all survivor perks at tier 3, but killer is a little more difficult. Technically, you could follow a similar technique, but because each killer has a different power, you kinda have to get all killers to P3 in order to have access to every tier 3 perk on a variety of killers. I've been making Dead by Daylight content for a little over a year now, and I just recently got all my perks to tier 3. It took me a little under 700 hours to do it. That's almost 29 full days of grinding. I joined Dead by Daylight right after Xenomorph released, so I've also seen the release of Chucky, The Unknown, Vecna, Dracula, the Houndmaster. Oh yeah, and you can't forget the re-release of Demogorgon. For survivors, I saw the release of Alan Wake, Sable Ward, Astri, or however the fuck you say that one, Lara Croft, Trevor Balmore, and Tari Kane. I was ecstatic with all the new content, but I couldn't help to feel that my grind was just getting infinitely longer. As if every time I prestige one character, a new one released. And imagine the insane grind someone would have ahead of them if they joined today. It really wouldn't be outrageous to assume with all the new content that's gonna drop in 2025, a new player might have to grind for 1,000 hours to get all the perks to tier 3. Look, I'll admit, I'm a sucker for a good grind. I tend to get bored of games once I feel like I've accomplished everything, and the nice part about Dead by Daylight is that they have the P100 grind. Getting P100 on a killer is a sweet experience where you get absolutely nothing but bragging rights, and that's in exchange for months of your life. It's pretty insane now that there's zero cosmetics for hitting P100. Like, I remember in Sea of Thieves and the experience of hitting Pirate Legend, I got a new skin, I got new sails for my boat, I had everything I needed to subtly brag brag to other pirates while sailing the seas. And isn't that what it's really all about? I find it hard to believe that Behavior can't make some type of specialty skin for P100s to wear. If that grind was more worthwhile, they could take less emphasis away from the grind of getting all your perks to tier 3, and therefore making them easier to level. Because I genuinely believe the grind for a new player is unbearable. As a newer player and content creator into Dead by Daylight, I always felt a little embarrassed when someone in chat would recommend a build and I didn't have it available on a killer. The fact I had to play 29 days just to be on a level playing field with others just feels wild. The Five Nights at Freddy's DLC will bring a lot of new players to Dead by Daylight. Now imagine if they were told the truth, that it would take over a month of in-game time to get all the perks in the game which allow you to be more creative and make competitive builds. But until then, you basically have the trial version of most perks, and that's if you have them at all. That's a massive commitment to ask from any new player. So something has to be done to make it easier for new players. I know there's gonna be a bit of resentment from the people who've already done the grind. I remember when I was paying off my student loans, I heard the government might give everyone $10,000. I was like, no fucking shot. I didn't just spend my early 20s being financially responsible for some dude who spent all his money on a pimped out Escalade to get bailed out. And although admittedly it's a different situation, I'm sure there'll be a bit of resentment towards any change that makes it easier for new players. Maybe it's as simple as doubling down on blood points, daily login rewards every day, more blood point events, double blood points every other week. Maybe, just maybe, that will make people feel better about it. And can we remove the blood point cap while we're at it too? But realistically, a stronger solution would probably be to just take away the tiered perk system. Straz from the future here. No more than 30 minutes after recording this video, Dead by Daylight has announced they're pushing back some of their content releases to do a quality of life update, which is much needed. They put out a pretty broad roadmap, but maybe we could see a change to perks in the near future. With some of the items they listed, I can't imagine they ignore the perk grind completely. They did confirm updating prestige rewards, so hopefully the game is transitioning to a new and healthier grind. Okay, back to the video. If you have a solution, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy having these open discussions about Dead by Daylight, because I really don't think there's one right answer. Changes to the Shrine of Secrets, changes to the tier system, changes to the blood point distribution, they all have their benefits and their drawbacks. I just feel like the grind should be more focused on endgame achievements and cosmetics, not access to perks that you feel like you need to be competitive in matches. This is by no means Dead by Daylight's biggest problem right now. The community is slowly destroying the game, but the solution is simple. I explain it in this video right here.